Ghostbusters 2. Is it good? Is it truly as bad as people say it is? Well, today we're talking about it on Dissect That Film. So let's go.
Your host, Parker, Dan, and Angela slice and dice their way through the good,
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
the bad,
You brought the devil!
There's a devil inside everyone.
and the ugly movies you love.
And you can't piss on hospitality. I won't allow it!
Hold your favorite films and franchises tight, because they aren't safe. In fact, it's already too late. It's time to dissect that film.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Dissect That Film, a podcast that dissects the good, the bad, and the ugly of cinema. I am your host, Britt Parker. Joining me, as always, well, only one half tonight, but we have Dan from DNA Gaming.
It's boys' night.
I'm so
Yes, it is.
sad.
Dicks out, folks.
Jesus Christ.
Wait, aren't you guys friends with someone else who's doing a boys' month?
I don't
It's
know
over,
that guy.
though. It's
It's unaffiliated.
Dang it.
And we'll probably get copyright claim. That guy's too famous for us.
Bro,
yeah.
way too famous.
Especially when he just constantly says he's famous.
Yeah.
He must.
He has to remind the world.
But joining us tonight is a first-time guest. I met him a couple days ago. He just wandered onto our show. I don't even know. No, we have Dustin from the Flicks and Friends podcast back, baby. What's up, buddy?
Thanks for having me back for the first time. I love it.
I had a whole
First time
thing
in
in my
forever.
head, and every time I have something good stored in my head, it never comes out of my mouth right. So that's the best I got for you guys.
Never goes
Thanks
in my
for
mouth
listening.
right either.
And I want to shout out China for all these downloads that we've gotten in September. Don't know what's
There you
going
go.
on, but hey, thanks, China.
There you go.
Are we
You're
part
like-
of another underground movement now?
I don't know, man. It's great
Another?
stuff.
Well, we were in South Africa a couple months ago. And now we're in China.
It's the same.
It was
It's the same.
in-
There's the same underground movement.
Yeah. Hey,
Well, yeah, it's just
Hey,
moving around.
a download's a download.
There you go.
I'll take it. Whatever.
Holes,
Hey, thanks.
holes is
Thanks a lot.
holes, guys.
Exactly.
Holes is
Thank
holes.
you. Thank you for. This people are just like, well, I'm not listening to that show anymore.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, no more China.
Get out of here. But yeah, today we were talking about Ghostbusters 2. A couple weeks ago, we talked about the original and how much we love it.
Busting
And,
makes
does
me
it-
feel good.
Yep, that's how I got 3 kids.
Oh!
Oh.
Me too.
Hey!
All right.
And yeah, we talked, going through a lot of the production stuff and all that fun with the original Ghostbusters. We got to read off Dustin's beautiful story about his origins with the movie and why it is his favorite movie of all time. But I asked him, I said, hey, do you want to cover the first one or do you want to cover the sequel? And he said, I want to cover the sequel. And I applaud him for that, because if it was me and somebody went, hey, do you want to talk about Jaws or do you want to talk about Jaws 2? I would have been like, fucking Jaws, you idiot. Like, I don't want to talk about Jaws 2.
I want to talk about Jaws too. If
No, I
anybody
do
wants
too.
me to talk
I
about
do.
Jaws 2, I want to discuss
I will
how
talk
it's
about
supposed to-
any one of the movies from the Jaws franchise.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't give a shit.
I'll
Just
skip.
Cruel Jaws.
There you go. I'll skip right to 3D.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Oh man, I can't wait to watch my 4K to see all of the weird things that people were posting all over social
Oh,
media.
that's gonna be
Oh,
perfect.
Just wait till the dolphins at the end of the movie, dude. They're gonna
Dude,
be
are
horrid.
they even more brown? I don't know.
Maybe.
I'll have to see. Are they see-through now? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just too much. The movie just stops playing.
Oh
What?
God! All right, well, Dustin, Ghostbusters, your favorite movie of all time. We've
It-
talked about it many times. You have an episode of your own show about it,
Yep.
so please
Check.
tell us about your history with Ghostbusters 2.
So it wasn't until Ghostbusters 2 came out on Blu-ray that I really started appreciating it, because the first Blu-ray transfer I ever got of it was then that digibook that came out with it had like one, the ghost was doing like this in the picture, and it had
Oh, yeah,
like,
it's just-
Oh, yeah.
it's kind of like
yeah.
it's kind of like the steelbook you have, but it's a blue digibook that has both movies. And my God, man, that Blu-ray transfer was amazing. It's so good. And then I started really appreciating it after, because I started looking as a kid after the first Ghostbusters, I started watching the real Ghostbusters. And that's what this absolutely reminded me of. So it wasn't until maybe 10 years ago I didn't find an affinity for this movie, but now I love it. It's my favorite. It's probably my favorite sequel movie of all time.
All right, Dan, what's your
Oh, no history. I don't really have one. This was even more so worse than the original Ghostbusters for me. Like, this was one that was not on the radar. I knew about it, like little tidbits here. I knew about the video games based around Ghostbusters 2, but that was about the extent of my knowledge of the show or my history with it.
All right. For me, it was more Ghostbusters, so I was sold. I love the original Ghostbusters, and as a kid, I used to watch it all the time. And I remember being a kid, and one of the TV stations always would play the first two Ghostbusters all the time, back to back. It was
when it was
sci-fi?
when it was sci-fi, not sci-fi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever channel it was, sci-fi, whatever.
Or TBS maybe.
Yeah, I think TBS might have been the one that I remember the most. But they always played these all the time. And if I was watching Ghostbusters, I was definitely watching Ghostbusters too. It's just more Ghostbusters, more shenanigans, more great effects. I was in love. So back when I was a kid, Ghostbusters and Ghostbusters 2, I didn't really have like a favorite. I just loved them both because I always watched them together. It was just it was like one big movie for me. So there it is.
Not me.
But as for the people who made this movie, we have Ivan Reitman back directing. He actually had to pause production for Kindergarten Cop to finish up this movie.
Oh God, no!
Was that sarcasm I sensed?
Maybe.
Do you not like Kindergarten Cop, Dan?
I don't give two shits about Kindergarten Cop.
It's not a tumor.
Harold Ramis and Dan Aykroyd are back writing this one. I guess it went through a lot of different scripts. It was supposed to be darker, but because of the animated series, they wanted to tone it down more, and they wanted to kind of play into the animated series more. That's why you get the darker jumpsuits. That's why Janine looks the way she does. And that's why I guess some of the ghosts that they use in this movie were in the animated series. So
they wanted to capitalize on merchandising because they didn't merchandise the first movie at all. And with them not doing that, and then when the cartoon came out, the cartoon started pumping out toys. They're like, well, fuck, let's do that too with this movie. That's why it's a little bit more silly than darker than I would rather have had a much darker Ghostbusters for sure.
Yeah, there was one script I read the idea for where it was like Dana gets kidnapped and brought to Scotland and is like held captive there, and the Ghostbusters have to travel there through a underground tunnel that connects New York
through China and South Africa that your dad was talking about.
Yeah,
yeah, absolutely.
I was like, what is this?
Is it related to Rawhead Rex? Because it might be.
Could you imagine?
He'll just start peeing on everybody.
Like Rawhead, Lubden, all of them fucking coming out to fight the Ghostbusters.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that was one of the many crazy scripts. And then I guess Ramis and Aykroyd came with the script where it was like it was kind of what we got in Ghostbusters 2, but without the slime, where it was like the emotions of the people of New York were causing more ghosts, and it was causing crazier things to happen in the city. But then they incorporated the slime or the ooze or whatever you want to call it, and then we got what we got. The whole thing was that they wanted a sequel a lot sooner than they got, but Bill Murray had like a falling out with the president of Columbia at the time, where the president called out Murray for like, hey, he does a good job for what he does, but he doesn't add anything to his craft. Like, he doesn't add anything to the art of acting, pretty much insulting him. And Murray was like, well, fuck you then. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go do other stuff. So without Murray, they weren't going to make another Ghostbusters. And so the president either got fired or he left, and they got a new president, and they were immediately, as soon as the new president came in, they were like, we want a Ghostbusters sequel. So they got everybody together, and they made it happen. I guess the old president even like wanted to start Ghostbusters 2, the production for it, without like Ivan Reitman being notified and without certain people being like brought in. And it was like, what the hell is happening with this?
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
It was just an absolute mess. And of course, it was also like there was also rumors during the filming of like Bill Murray's just antics were just out of control, where he would show up late to set, or he would just like, there would be something in the script for him to do, and he'd just be like, nah, I'm going to do it this way instead. And they were like, all right, I guess that's what we're doing. Just got to go with it.
He did it a lot in the first one too, man. All the skating by he did. And I'm pretty sure I said it off air. Bill Murray is my least favorite part of any of these movies, dude. Like, even up until like the newer stuff, when they try to bring in like the legacy characters, I don't need him. You know, like, and I don't know if you guys talked about this, but have you asked what who's y'all's favorite Ghostbuster is?
We did talk about it in the last episode.
Yes.
We'll say it again. We love Winston.
Yeah.
Okay.
Winston. I love Winston. Dan, you said Winston too.
Winston and Ray.
And I love Ray.
Ray is my
I do like Egon, but I just like, I don't know. I just love Ray's like attitude towards everything and kind of his just he's very intelligent, but he's also kind of a bumbling idiot at the same time. And it's such a great combo. And Winston is just like he's just like the dude on the outside. Yeah, absolutely. We talked about how he's fucking hot as fuck at 76,
dude,
bro.
Dude, so good. But Ray is like the heart of the team. Like, he's like the most pure one out of all of them, dude. And
because he was the one who wanted to do this for the science and for like actually learning things, where, you know, Venkman was all about the money and the merchandising and like the corporate part of it.
And the leg.
And we talked about the fact that Venkman fucking sucks in the first one. He is a piece of shit. We talked about the drug thing of like, why does he have that? Where did it come from? That's not something normal, dude. If you guys really want to know our thoughts on Venkman from Ghostbusters, there are two episodes that you can listen to. You can listen to our episode on Ghostbusters, which came out a couple weeks ago. Check that out. But also check out Dustin's episode, his Flicks and Friends episode on Ghostbusters, and listen to them talk about Venkman being a piece of shit.
Yeah, well, it's mainly me, but yeah, he sucks, dude. Like, he's my least favorite, but it's also because of Bill Murray's character himself. Like you're saying, he picks and chooses when he wants to come on set, act, do what he needs to do, and not following any in terms direction. Like, Harold Ramis and Dan Aykroyd wrote this part specifically for you. Don't change it because you don't like it. You know, they had you in mind,
right?
You know,
exactly.
But and then that's, you know, that just spawned the spiral between Harold Ramis and Bill Murray as well. So.
Well, that's the thing is, like, Murray. This is just how Murray has been his entire career. He has been someone that I know that people like working with him for some reason, but also it's not even just the Ghostbusters movies. It's like pretty much any production he was a part of. Groundhog's Day, I've heard things about.
Garfield.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong, those movies are fucking hot garbage. Okay, those movies, dude. He makes fun of it in freaking Zombieland, which I love him in Zombieland. It's so good. When he's playing himself, it's like the best. Just keep putting Bill Murray in movies where he plays Bill Murray.
He's just an asshole. Yeah. Sucks, dude. He sucks. But yeah, he walks around like his shit doesn't stink, and you know that's just not a good look.
No.
I will say, though, as we go through this, I am not as hard on him in this one as I was in the first one, because I think the script being more, I'm not going to say kid friendly, because this movie isn't kid friendly. It still has its dark moments. The villain is pretty fucking scary. There are moments of this movie where you're like, damn. I remember watching this as a kid and being like, holy shit. Is that a ghost nanny fly through the air? It's just Janosch? Like, hey, that long arm. Like, what the hell is that?
Ain't no arm.
No, Oh no, there's a baby involved.
It's
Stop it.
Parker. It's Parker.
Oh no,
It's like a chameleon tongues.
What is happening? Oh Lord. So as for the cast of this movie, we have pretty much the entire original cast. We have Bill Murray as Peter Venkman. We have Dan Aykroyd as Raymond Stantz, Sigourney Weaver as Dana Barrett, Harold Ramis as Egon Spengler, Rick Moranis as Louis Tully, Ernie Hudson as Winston Zeddemore, Annie Potts as Janine Melnitz. I got it right on the first try this time.
Hell yeah.
Peter McNichol as Janosch Poha. Kurt Fuller as douchebag McGee. I'm sorry, Jack Hardenmeyer. David Margulies as Mayor Lenny. Harris Yulin as Judge Stephen. Lenny.
Oh, what the hell? There's two of you.
Harris Yulin as Judge Stephen Wexler. Janet Margolin as the prosecutor during the court scene. And William and Hank Duschendorf as Baby Oscar.
Duschendorf.
And
It's
then we have
isn't it?
Is it Dusendorf? Duschendorf?
Fuck, I don't. That'd be hilarious if it was Duschendorf. Oh my god!
Dusendorf?
Holy,
I'm sorry.
the double douche.
Yeah. And Wilhelm von Homburg as Vigo the Carpathian. But he was dubbed by Max von Sydow. You know who Max von Sydow is? We talked about him on the show once. He was Father Marin in The Exorcist.
Oh, tits. Yeah.
Old man Marin.
Dude, the scowl on that motherfucker in this movie. Holy hell.
So Max von Sydow wasn't actually him. He just did the voice.
No, I know. The other guy.
But
yeah.
The Wilhelm von Homburg, when he went to the premiere, found out that was when he found out that he didn't actually do the voice, that they dubbed him. So he left.
Oh, really?
He was like, "Fuck this shit, I'm out of here." Yeah, he was pissed. The funniest thing was that the two boys that played Oscar were the nephews of John Denver.
Oh,
that John Denver's full of shit.
Mm-hmm.
John Denver.
No, because okay, that's fine. No, because okay.
We do get
Dumb
a little.
and Dumber.
We do get a
This
little.
Is the Rocky Mountains.
Oh yeah. God damn it,
John
Dan.
Denver's full of shit. Yeah, go ahead. Just do it. Just do it.
No,
it's so warm.
We get a Brian Murray fucking cameo in here too.
Yeah, he plays the psychiatrist later on. I was watching it. My wife was sitting with me, and I'm like, she's like, yeah, the psychiatrist there. That's Bill Murray's brother. And she just looks at me and goes, I couldn't tell.
My wife goes, "Why does he look like Bill Murray?" I'm like, "That's Bill Murray's brother."
He is Bill Murray.
I just remember him from a show when I was growing up called Yes Dear.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was also at SpongeBob reference. He's the voice of
the Flying Dutchman. Yeah.
Arr, the Flying Dutchman.
The monkey's not the monkey.
And people are pissed because they're making a SpongeBob movie, another SpongeBob movie, because there's already like 25 of them. But I guess they're making another one, and they're not bringing him in to do the voice of the Flying Dutchman. It's going to be Mark Hamill.
Well,
and I'm like,
fuck him.
I like Mark Hamill, but like, come on, man, he's iconic. He's been the voice of the Flying Dutchman since like the beginning. What are we doing?
Yeah. Why would not? I was about to do another mistake because he's in Wayne's World, and like he plays Noah from Noah's Arcade, and I was like, oh, it sucks. Brian Murray's like dead and shit, and he's not.
No, he's not. Oh no!
But what I remember,
I know there is a Murray brother that is dead, but I don't think he was an actor.
It's not. Yeah, it's not Brian. Yeah. But have you seen the Three Stooges movie with Will Sasso and Sean Hayes?
I've seen it once, and the only time I will watch that again is if we cover it. So.
Okay, so we're gonna cover it. Your ass is gonna be there too, because I felt so bad for everyone in that movie because I had to cover my mouth because I was laughing so fucking hard in that movie. It's great, but he's in that movie too. He's a big plot line, like he's the one closing down the fucking orphanage.
I'm gonna make a reference to all the Seinfeld fans out there. He played the father of the Bubble Boy in the Bubble Boy episode.
Oh,
so, yeah,
Jake Gyllenhaal.
No, not that. Same idea, but it was an episode of Seinfeld where He runs into Jerry runs into him at the diner that they're always at in the show, and he's like,
Does he pop the balloon?
George does at the end of the episode. They're like arguing over a game of Trivial Pursuit, and he asks a question and he gets it right, but George is being a petty piece of shit, and he just makes up a word. He's like, "Oh, sorry, it's not the Moors, it's the Moops," and he's like, "The Moops isn't even a word." Like, sorry, and then they like argue and shit. He's like choking George out, and then George pops the bubble.
Nice, well
Fucking
done.
Seinfeld's
GG.
great. I want to just do a show where I just talk about Seinfeld all the damn time. God damn it.
Awesome.
Yeah, so there's a lot of other cameos that we'll talk about when we get to those scenes, and there's a lot of other stuff that we could talk about, like for behind the scenes. Like ILM actually worked on this one, unlike the first one,
Good.
because as we stated, ILM wasn't available for the first one, so Boss Studios did all the effects work. But this was the first Ghostbusters to use CGI. Like they actually used CGI work in this, and so ILM was all over it. ILM also had to do a lot of the like puppet work as well, like getting into like suits and stuff, and yeah, a lot of fun. Also, just kind of like the references, like the Scoler Brothers were originally they were stated that they were based off the Blues Brothers, but then I guess they were actually based off actual criminals that lived in New York during like the 40s, because I guess they were like hardened robbers that at one point robbed Harold Ramis's dad, and then were like this big deal. Then they ended up getting caught, and they were actually sent to the electric chair. So it was like kind of a true story behind these crazy ass Muppet ghosts.
Why don't you tell them you don't believe in ghosts? I love the Scolaries.
Oh,
I
they're
love
great.
them.
It's so good. I just when they're in the courtroom, just like
No, it's so fucking good.
It's so great. But yeah, if you guys, I mean, is there anything else that you guys have? Dustin, you got anything that you want to talk about before we get into the plot of this?
Nope. I would like to talk about the movie as we're talking about the movie.
Well,
Yep.
last thing I do want to mention, Randy Edelman did the music for this, and it was released June 16th, 1989, with a budget of $30 to $40 million, and it made $215.4 million, which was about $70 million less than what the first one made. And it did not get very good reviews. The reception wasn't great. I know that it wasn't a favorite amongst the popular critics of the time, like Roger, was it Ebert and Siskel?
Yeah, the Scolaries.
Or Siskel and Ebert, yeah. The Scolaries.
Yeah, fucking.
Is this another movie where the
fucking Statton and Waldorf over there, man?
Is this another movie where they made characters based on them, and then they didn't do anything with them, like Godzilla 98, where they actually made characters named after these critics and they just didn't do anything? Yeah. Where they even got mad in their reviews, like, you made characters based on us, but you didn't even kill us.
It's funny you mentioned Godzilla 98. Because the dude who wrote that, I haven't looked it up. I swear it's this fucking dude. During Venkman's first section, with the psychic about the dude, that guy, the general. There you go. I don't know if we were going to mention that or not. So
he also shows up in Seinfeld as well.
Oh,
as a very annoying former friend of Jerry's. But yeah, let's get into this thing. So it's time to dissect. Oh! I almost got you guys. You guys thought I was gonna miss it.
I was like, is he gonna go into it without
his
doing
eyes got
his thing?
wide? His eyes got wide. Oh,
you were too subtle with it. I was
sorry.
ready too. I was like,
all right.
No, it's good.
Keeping us on our toes.
So it's 5 years later, because it has to tell us, and I don't remember that ever being there. I've seen this movie so many times. I do not remember the 5 years later card. I was like, oh, okay.
You must have missed it, just like Shannon Tweed's boobs in that other movie.
I guess so. The most important things I missed.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, but I missed it. Boobs. I missed it all the other times, but I didn't have to take notes on the movie. How did I miss it back then when I was just sitting in front of a TV watching it? But I was like actively taking notes on this, and I was
on
like,
a black screen.
5 years later thing. All right, sure.
Are we taking notes on boobs? What are we talking about?
What's happening?
Oh, 5 years ago. I'm sorry.
Dan, it's boys' night.
It's boys, and there ain't no titties in this, but it's about
It's
a bunch of
Ghostbusters.
bros. There can be titties in it.
Listen, Sigourney Weaver got close, okay?
Yeah.
She did.
Yeah.
So there's ooze. I got you, Dustin. I know what you're saying.
Yep. Anyways,
Alien, we got the underwear. Ghostbusters 2, we just got the bra. It's like, all you got to do is just chop them in half, and you just tape you tape the two pieces together, and you got the whole package. You blow it up, you put it on your wall in 1995, and you're the fucking man.
All your friends will want to stay. Okay. All your friends will want to stay over at your house.
Yes, just to look at Sigourney Weaver's two halves.
Yep,
it's like askew.
Made it happen.
It's not even lined up right. What happened to her? She like starts to peel off, and she's just, oh god, just her legs. Oh my god! So there's ooze coming from the street, and yes, I'm going to say ooze throughout this episode because it needs to be said. It's never called ooze; it's called slime, but I'm going to call it ooze. New York is a chaotic place, and it's like, okay, I mean, we know it's New York City, and Dana's going home. She's got a new baby, and you're like, oh, cool. Her and Peter had a baby, which we all know that wasn't the case. But she's talking to some dude who's going to help her bring her groceries in, and the baby carriage just starts to go. But the thing that I was going, well, why didn't you stop it? Was it moves like 3 feet, and then Dana turns and looks at it like intently.
Yeah, she goes
and just stares at it. She doesn't like go over to like pull it closer to her or maybe just hold on to it. She just stares at it.
And then
it just starts going. And I was like, grab the thing.
Yeah, but it's even worse. Like during this part, she's screaming, "Hey, somebody stop it!" And everyone's jumping the fuck out of the way.
Oh yeah,
just catch it.
I feel like
just stop it. It's a fucking baby carriage. Stop it. You know,
I feel like we live in a world where that actually would happen. So,
well,
unfortunate.
They are in New York, and it's their God-given right to be an asshole.
Yes,
allegedly.
Thank you, Mary.
Hey, that's what I heard.
I can't talk. Why do I podcast? I don't know how to use words. But yeah, she finally saves the baby, and she stands in traffic right into the title card.
Ghostbuster.
That's all I can. Ghost Breakers. Yes. Sorry, that would have been the original title. But you know, the Ecto One's not looking so good. It's driving down the street, smoking from its ass end, and you're thinking, are they going to a job? And no, it's Winston and Ray going to do a birthday party. Well, yeah, they are doing a job, just not the job we think they're like what we want them to be doing, but they're performing at a birthday party that nobody wants them at because they want HeMan. We want HeMan.
You know,
bring forth Skeletor.
And future director of go ahead.
No, okay. I'm just real quick. This whole movie has a running gag of New York forgot what the fuck the Ghostbusters did for them.
It's so
this
stupid.
Is the thing though. They explain why the Ghostbusters are in the state they're in. I always watched this movie thinking that it was just like, did we just reset? Like, is this a different universe? Like, what's going on? But there is a reasoning behind them being where they're at right now, and it gets explained later.
But
it's like, okay, it makes more sense.
In the courthouse, sure, like they run down their fucking list of accolades.
Yeah,
but it's like it makes it seem like, you know, New York just completely forgot. You know, they saved it, and it's just it always just blew my mind. Why the fuck that was a thing?
Yeah,
assholes, New Yorkians. Yeah. Just kidding.
Damn you, New York.
Sound like a cop out from a writing perspective.
Yeah.
We got to have them start at the bottom again and work their way up like they did in the first movie.
What they should have done was open this movie with them eating a whole bunch of cheese pizza.
I would have done it.
Yeah.
100%. I would have watched it.
Yeah,
and they could have saved
for some weird reason.
Oh.
They could have saved some pizza delivery guy from Ghosts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or getting assaulted
or
by
turtles.
Just Ernie Reyes Jr. there again.
Please.
Kino. Kino's at this kid's party.
I do love the kid who's just like, I thought we were getting He-Man. And then young Jason Reitman, future director of Ghostbusters Afterlife, shows up and is just a complete little dick. Hey, my My dad told me why you guys are out of business.
You guys were con men.
Yeah.
That little asshole, dude.
And the character,
That's why
his
that
character's
movie
name is
sucked.
Jason because the woman's like, Jason.
Stop it. We drown that motherfucker.
Kill
As
in
a
the lake.
wrong
Kill
Jason,
her, mommy.
yeah.
Kill her, mommy. And it's just like, Jason, you need to go to your room.
Yeah. Like, you watch that movie too damn
He
much.
puts down his machete and just drags his feet.
But yeah, you get a kind of an explanation of why they're in the state they're in out at the car after they collect their money and all that. Because I love how they play the Ghostbusters song and they're singing it, and then
Like it's
was like,
canon.
who are you gonna call? HeMan.
HeMan, HeMan, HeMan. But yeah, they play
So
the song. It's fucking canon in the universe. Like
Yeah.
it's like literally their theme song, dude. It's so fucking wild.
But the fun fact about this was that He-Man was owned by the same, I think it was owned by Universal, or owned by the same company as the original Ghostbusters. Not the Ghostbusters that we're talking about, but the Ghostbusters that Columbia had to try to get the rights to be called Ghostbusters.
The cartoon.
It was called like Filmation or Filmination or something like that was the company. They produced both He-Man and that original Ghostbusters, which after the original Ghostbusters came out, that show came back as an animated series, and they still were called
there's
Ghostbusters.
the live action show. Yeah.
Well, there's a live action show, but then they did an animated show.
Yeah. The Hanna-Barbera
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah. So some weird stuff is so because of the weird thing that happened at the beginning of the movie, Dana goes to visit Egon, who works in this he works in a lab and he's like dealing with like emotions and he's just tracking people's emotions. I love the whole thing with like the people in they've been waiting in the waiting room for like 2 hours and we just keep turning the heat up. It's like 95 degrees in there right now. There's just people just like screaming at each other. And you just got this one dude who wanders and he's like, yeah.
I would have left.
I'm
dude.
like,
Fuck
I'm out,
that
guys.
shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And
We'll
she's
try again
of course, and she's kind of she's explaining the situation, and we get the whole backstory of like why she has a kid now. Because after her and Venkman broke up, she got with another guy who I guess, according to Ivan Reitman, was the guy from the first movie that she walks out of the band practice with.
Oh,
that son of a bitch.
Yeah.
That
but that's why she has a
son
kid.
of a bitch. Yeah.
And yeah, he got a better job opportunity or something, so he moved away, and they decided to get divorced. We then see a little girl getting a puppy. That's Ivan Reitman's daughter.
Wow. And that's a
And I
cute
love
puppy.
it right before. I love when Dana leaves though. He's just like, "What would happen if we took the puppy away?"
So fucking mean.
He's just got that smirk, that beautiful Egon smirk on his face. I love it.
Oh, my favorite one happens in the courtroom. That's the smolder.
Oh yes, we'll get that. Don't.
Yeah.
No, people know what we're talking about, but no,
Mhm.
that has to wait because there's three of us here, so it's gonna be
We'll
perfect.
do it.
We got it down. So Peter, we find out that Peter hosts a kind of like a psychic show or a talk show where he talks to psychics. One of them is Kevin Dunn, who says that the end of the world is going to happen on New Year's Day. And then you have this woman who's just like, I think it's going to end on February 14th, 2016. I'm like, oh no. Instead, we got another Ghostbusters movie. No.
Valentine's Day.
That was the end of the world.
That was the end of the
Bummer.
world. Was we got that Ghostbusters movie? No, I know
The 2000.
you talk.
All right.
You guys
I'll-
talked about
I'll-
it a little bit in your episode,
Mhm.
but what are your thoughts on the movie? Like there's an episode on it. I don't want to like go into it again. It's been a long time, and I don't remember what I said. So, Dustin, give us a little bit of your history with Ghostbusters 2016 and like your thoughts on it.
They followed the same formula as 84. I mean, they got mostly SNL actors. Mostly was an ad-libbed script. That was the downfall, was the ad-lib stuff. But I'll defend it. My only gripe is it's a little Scooby-Doo-ish. And that's really it. I mean, it's really a whodunit. I'm okay with the different Ghostbusters universe because, like you said, with your experience in this movie, I got more Ghostbuster stuff. You know, it's like I'm totally fine with it. Like I'll defend it. You know, there's other. It's this is my Ghostbusters. You know what I mean? Like this isn't going to stop existing because the 2016 one came out. So, and then like
My
Paul, for
God.
example, Paul has a little girl, and that's someone for her to look up to. You know, like that was one of my favorite
Right.
images is when they were doing like the press tour for it, dude. Kristen Wiig sitting there talking to these two little girls, and there's a little girl like off to the side, like her jaw is just fucking dropped. I'm like, whose childhood are they ruining, really? You know, so I'll defend it. I enjoy it. I own it. So I mean,
I do
I
too.
don't-
It was the
I
only
don't-
Ghostbusters movie I owned until I bought that Blu-ray. So I clearly
don't
didn't hate
own-
it, but
I don't own Frozen Empire, so that's saying something.
I don't know if I want to be honest.
I don't either.
But I digress.
yeah.
Yeah. We've talked about it. And we always have to stress every time we talk about 2016. It's just like we didn't dislike it because it was women Ghostbusters. Like it's such a stupid reason. The script was just a mess, and yes, the fact that Dustin's saying that it was all ad-libbed. They just took jokes way too far, and they didn't just say, "Okay, we're gonna move on." They just let them go, and then they didn't edit it, so it was just like Kristen Wiig going on for a joke for like 10 minutes, and you're just like, "I'm so over this. What is going on?"
I just didn't. My biggest gripe, and it's not even a big gripe, is it's a little Scooby-Doo-ish. But again, I don't care. I love the devices. I love the callbacks.
Yeah, and even the original Ghostbusters decided to make cameos. Some good, some bad. But 2016, it exists. You don't have to like it. You don't have to watch it, but you can listen to our episode on it and come up with your own opinion and listen to Angela tear it to shreds. So yeah, he talks to these two people. I love they bring the hairless cat. It's like next week, talk about hairless animals. That cat is is Dr. Evil's cat from Austin Powers.
Mr. Bigglesworth.
Yes.
Yes. I love it though, where Venkman's talking to his assistant or the guy who works in the studio, and he's just like, couldn't give me anybody better. Like, he couldn't give. It's like, well, no professional psychic wants to talk to you because I think you're a fraud. And I love his response. He's like, well, I am a fraud. I'm like, what a great response. That was fantastic.
We're signing out. Have a.
I'm gonna say it right now. We still got a lot of movies to talk about. I like Venkman in this one. I like him way more in this one than I like him in the original. Like, I think the way that they were able to the way they wrote this script, the way that the direction they went, they didn't make Venkman as much of a creep and a douchebag as he is in the first one. He still has his moments, but he is nowhere near the slime ball he is in the first one. Just my opinion. But we find out that the mayor's assistant is a piece of shit. Venkman's trying to talk to him. He's like, "Hey, Lenny!" He's like, "Lenny!" Who are you? And he's like, "Yeah." And I love when he's like, "Excuse me, who are you?" And he's like, "Don't touch me."
Dude.
And I just love. He's like,
Benjamin were an ice cream flavor, he'd be pralines and dick. That's all I think about when I see him. It's fucking Wayne's World, dude, or Scary Movie. And he goes, "How about take a look at these pictures?" How about the last one more time? It's so fucking good, dude.
He's another one of those guys who just can play a dick. So
that guy. He's guy. It's him. Yeah.
I mean, we got it in the first one with Dickless, so gotta have that character.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah. But I do love the fact where Venkman's just like, I'm a voter. I voted for you. Aren't you supposed to kiss my ass?
Yep.
So we go to the museum and we meet Janosch, and he's a creep. I do love though when they're moving the painting, the main painting of Vigo, and he walks by the one girl and he's like, "Everything you're doing is bad."
I just want you to know that.
It's such a great delivery because he's not. He's just everything you're doing is bad.
Dude,
and then of course he's just an absolute creep. He goes up to Dana, he's trying to flirt with her, and it's just he gets shot down immediately. And
why is it every time I ask you to do something, you tell me you're just busy or next time?
It's like, get the hint, buddy.
Yeah,
pick
pick up
it up.
Hint.
But the painting starts to move, and you're like, ooh. He doesn't notice it, though.
Becomes 3D. Like he's fucking Rihanna 5-head starts poking out of the goddamn painting.
Did you just say Rihanna 5-head?
I sure did. Rihanna, come fight me.
Oh.
I hope that happens.
Dude, she
I don't
an entire Super Bowl halftime show pregnant. I give her props, okay?
Yeah, I mean, she still has a 5-head.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
I got nothing else to add to that. I agree with Dustin. I got his back 100%.
He's calling somebody they got a 5-head yet. He's bald as fuck.
That's what I was gonna say. It's coming from the bald guy. Yeah.
He's like, I can say it.
Yeah, I'm allowed.
We're with words. Slow down, brain. We can do this. We're at Ray's Occult Bookshop. I do love Pete showing up and acting like a dick. He's just like, I'm looking for this fancy book. You know, coming in acting like a fool, but they already know who it is. He makes the joke to Egon about his assistant. It's like, oh, do you think that your assistant likes your brains? And he says something that I guess has to do with his dick or something or testicles. Yeah, I don't remember the word.
Helps the release. Is it with the release of sperm?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember.
It's really weird either. If you know what it is.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ray gets tortured.
Seed dead.
Yeah, Ray gets tortured into telling Venkman who they're helping because they didn't want, because Dana pretty much told him, don't tell Pete that you're helping me. But he pinches Ray's ears and gets him to tell.
That just seems like a really good way to get headbutted in the fucking face.
I'm
just saying.
As soon as he grabbed my ears, I would have cold cocked him.
I'm saying your hands are
we're
still
not
free.
Your hands are
free. Pull this shit off, dude.
Dan Aykroyd's a big dude. Like,
he's a soul man. Jeez. Yeah. You're in his store. You are trespassing at that point.
Dick. So they go to Dana's house to study the baby. And this is when you get like Pete's actually really good with the baby. It's not like super awkward. It's like he picks him up. He's like playing with him, talking to him. I'm like, oh, this is I don't know. I just like this side of Venkman. I don't know. It's like it's a complete turnaround for me. I fucking hate him in the first one. And like this one is like, he's kind of redeeming himself. I'm kind of enjoying what I'm seeing here. I like his relationship with the baby. I do love when he picks up the cello and he's like strumming it like a guitar.
Yeah.
But yeah. And the baby's cute. So
he picks him up and goes, he's ugly. Was his father ugly? Knowing damn well who he was.
And he's smelly. Yeah. Was the father smelly?
What's his name? Oscar. Named after a hot dog.
Poor guy.
My name is Oscar Glizzy.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I do love, I mean, what makes Sigourney Weaver so good in this role, and she was able to do it in the last movie, is her reaction to everything that Venkman says. Like, she just doesn't take him that serious. So, like, every time he's saying things, she just has this weird smile on her face. Because she either finds it adorable or she's just like, it's Venkman, you know?
Mm-hmm. And then up until this point of the movie, we kind of get like a beat for beat from the first one. Because the opening of this movie, she has the carriage. Opening of the first movie, it's the whole library scene. Then the guys they convene together and they go to investigate. Yep. And in the first one, Egon asks Venkman to get a fucking sample, and he gathers up some mucus. And in this one, Egon's asking him to collect yet another sample. Dude, yeah, he's a business or
but then he gives it to
personal.
Dana to do. Oh, you need to get a stool sample. A stool sample?
Whoa! And runs away.
But they find the source of the weird phenomena. They wander out into the road, and I love Venkman just walking out there and just stopping traffic. And I guess Dan Aykroyd said it in an interview, or like during like a behind the scenes talk, that Bill Murray would like do this in real life. He would literally just wander out and try. Like if he needed to cross the street, he wouldn't even go to his car. He would just literally wander and just stop people.
Jaywalking.
Yeah,
breaking the law.
Listen, I had a cop stop me when I was like 12 years old, literally yelling at me because I jaywalked. There was no one on the street. Give me a fucking break, bro.
Well, you were also 12.
That dude took his job very seriously.
He felt like
Oh,
he
yeah.
wanted to yell at a child that day.
I did it on the way home, so clearly I learned my lesson, right?
No, absolutely, 100%. Yep. Somebody just needed to feel like a big man that day.
Mhm. So they dig into the street where they've sensed the phenomena, and dude, every time the cop would show up, and Bank was just like, "What are you trying to do? You gonna tell him to stop digging? Huh? What is it? Like, what's happening here? Like, I don't understand. I got like." This is like always has a different story to tell this dude, because he later comes back with like a dude from the phone company, and he's just like, "What? I got like a million lines of phone line here. What do you want me to do?" And he's like, "The phone lines are across the street." And he's like, "I told you!" He like smacks Egon on the head.
Dude, when Bill Murray's lipping off to the cop for the first time, and then Dan Aykroyd butts in, he goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry. You know, the boss got us working late, all this and that. Ain't that right, Pete?" And then he goes, "Yeah." And he goes, "Ain't that right, Ziggy?" And Egon, yo.
Yes, yeah. Yes.
I love that shit, dude. It's so funny.
Oh god. But Ray goes down into the hole, and this is where he discovers the river of slime / ooze. Oozy.
River of slime.
And like arms start coming out of it to try to grab him, and he's like wiggling. He's like, "Guys!"
Oh, I love it.
And then he gets pulled up. We're back at the museum where the painting attacks Janosch, and Vigo gives him instructions, and he bows down to him very quickly. As soon as he's like, "I am Vigo, the Carpathian, you will bow down to me and listen to me," and he's like, "Oh, my lord," and I was like,
absolutely.
So originally, Janosch was supposed to be like this completely different character, but what's his name? The guy who plays him, Peter McNichol, came up with this whole backstory about how he should be from Carpathia, and kind of that's why he has this crazy connection with the painting, because Vigo is also from Carpathia, so it's like this whole thing. He even came up with the accent and all that, and it's so good. The funny thing is that Carpathia was the ship that went to the Titanic's rescue and actually saved survivors of the Titanic.
Oh, wow.
And the Titanic makes an appearance in this movie.
It
It does.
There's a zombie.
Yes, I love that whole thing. But yeah, he gets like electrocuted, which kind of like I guess possesses him in some way. And
that's what they used to download back then.
Yeah.
He's like,
it sets a break.
As I say,
The Bluetooth connection.
He's like, "Give me a baby," and he's like, "I'll get you a baby." He's like,
"I happen to know
my
one."
Belly. Yeah.
I happen to know a baby.
Is that the only baby he knows? Could he not just like find a baby? Like orphanages are full.
No, he's like, the woman that I want
hospitals.
Has a baby, so perfect. I get baby for him. I get girl. That's how it works, right? It's
I understand.
easy.
I'm just. Is it? It seems a lot more.
At least that's what he thinks. I don't know. So Janosch visits Dana at her house. Because
fucking weirdo, dude.
When Ray was in the hole and he gets pulled up, he like knocks one of the wires and it causes all the power to go out. So Dana then gets a surprise visit from Janosch. He gets shot down again. He's like,
as one does.
He's like, "I was just in the neighborhood." I love this fucking accent, man. It's so good. "I was just in the neighborhood and I thought, I'd come by." And he's like,
how the fuck do you know where she lives?
He's possessed by a demon man in a painting. I don't know.
Yeah,
puts GPS into him and like
look at her W-2. What Dan just said.
That's well, that's what Lewis says earlier or later in the movie.
Yeah.
Oh man, but he gets shot down, and when she shuts the door, he turns, and then his eyes turn into flashlights,
like in the Power Rangers movie.
Yes, bro.
Yeah, turn on the high beams, baby.
I wish there was more payoff for that. I feel like there was supposed to be more payoff.
I don't think anything happens with it. Like what was the
No,
point?
he's like, my eyes turned on.
Is it just because it was dark out and he needed to see?
I think it's just to prove the supernatural aspect of Janosch. Like what he now possesses.
I have high beams.
Yeah. Just don't turn them on when you're walking 500 feet in front of me.
Yep. He has to just like push his arm back. Like,
Twist.
he's
his
got a
ear.
button on the side of his
eyes
head.
closed. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Ghostbusters are in court, and Lewis is their lawyer.
Night court.
Oh my god, dude!
Okay, well, no.
I got my tag.
Well, Lewis
I got my degree at night school. Well, lucky for you, Lewis, we were arrested at night. Dude, so fucking good.
But you also find out why the Ghostbusters haven't been able to do any ghostbusting, because after the events of the first one, they were sued by like all these different agencies of the city and the state, and they pretty much got a restraining order. Yeah. Because they're like, yeah, well, we did summon a 100-foot marshmallow man and cause a lot of damage. So,
well,
it's not their.
It's like they intentionally summoned.
Well, it's not their fault that marshmallow man stepped on a church.
Well, they do mention the fact that they blew up like 3 stories of like a high rise.
That's just a technicality.
Yeah, I mean, no one was there.
But yeah, so they have a restraining order on them, pretty much stating they can't be Ghostbusters.
Sounds like the bullshit New York would pull, but carry on.
But of course the attorney is like got all the evidence. It's like their proton packs were there. They were in the truck that they had at the site. So like shit stacking up. Literally, the freaking mayor's assistant there comes over and he's just like, "Well, you're gonna be going away for a long time. Have fun,
dickhead."
Fucking hate you. But with all of the anger and craziness that goes on in the courtroom, especially mostly from the judge himself, because they call him the Hammer.
Dude, I love it.
And he's just going off on him.
Yeah.
He's like, "You're going to spend 18 months at Riker Island. Shut up." And he just keeps going to the point where he literally is like they're going to be put to death. And I was like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah. But
the ooze is getting all...
Earlier when they're at the when Egon and Dana are at the lab, the study, that's kind of like foreshadowing what we're about to see right now, because Egon and Ray had like this theory back when they were Ghostbusters that emotions would, they cause some type of energy, and that's what this is the payoff for that small fucking comment that he makes.
Yeah, which was one of their original ideas for the script, just minus the slime. So. But the ooze wakes up the Scoler Brothers. Wow! And then, of course, you find out the history about them, where the judge was the one who put them away, and they got the chair, and so it's kind of like a revenge thing. But they look like Muppets, dude. I love them, but they look like fucking like they're supposed to be formerly real people. And they're just like,
well,
that's great.
Yeah, I just feel like that's like the exaggeration of the ghost, because in the first one we get the zombie skeleton, we get Slimer, something that kind of over exaggerates a ghost, and I feel like again they had to sell fucking toys for this thing, dude. That was I
mean, they're still cool. They're still cool. I love when they
them.
first show up, they're sitting in the electric chair and they got the electricity going in between them, but then they break free of it.
And then
but
they
of course,
pick up that other attorney and take her out, and who knows what the fuck they did to her. They killed her.
God.
Dead.
In the original trailer, trailer, they showed that scene, but they didn't have the effects done yet, so it's just her floating upside down.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, sure,
that's perfect.
But in order for them to do any ghostbusting, they gotta have their restraining order revoked and all the cases dropped, and then now they can bust ghosts again. And this is where we get the scene.
Oh, it's so good. Ray,
Egon,
and then he goes,
and you get that beautiful fucking Egon smirk. Fucking, it's so good.
That smolder he gives him, like he's, God damn it, dude.
Oh God.
He's like,
and then,
you think
of
this
course,
ego's big?
But of course, we got to get the another iconic saying as they walk out of the courtroom after they catch the Scoler Brothers, and that's "We're the best, we're the beautiful, we're the only Ghostbusters." And then we get a Ghostbusting montage with a new song, and Janine's back with a new hairdo because they had to make her look like the animated version of her.
Still looking like Abraham Lincoln.
I mean, yeah, Annie Potts looking good.
God
Looking
damn.
good. I don't fully like what they did to her in this movie though, but you know what? I'm over it. She's still fun.
It was the 90s, Parker. Okay?
It was
close to the 90s. It was
89.
close to the 90s. Whatever.
Not quite. But like
The periphery.
but as I'm watching this, I'm like, man, those dark suits rule. I wish they just wore those the whole movie. They're so
Yeah,
awesome.
those are fucking
Yeah.
Also, why does their logo have the 2 on it? Is it because they're back? Like it's like the Ghostbusters are back. So this is like the I get we're watching Ghostbusters 2, but why does the logo have the 2?
Merchandising.
I don't know.
I get it, but it still doesn't make sense for
That's-
the movie. I don't know.
It doesn't at all.
Even the sign outside the firehouse has the 2,
Mhm.
and I was like, okay, sure, whatever.
Yeah.
It'd be different if it was like a different branch of the Ghostbusters, like Ghostbusters West Coast,
Yeah.
or something
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. Like they would use the.
And also for anyone who's confused why Slimer's at the firehouse, the animated series, that's why he lives there. He literally lives
That's
there
it.
now.
Yeah.
Yep,
Stop-
that's the only reason he's
Dude,
there.
I'm a little personal thing. I thought he looked better in the first movie.
Way better
Sorry,
in the
ILM.
first movie. No, he did.
Yeah,
He really did.
I do agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think just the puppet, it just looked way fucking better.
Yeah.
You don't see him much in this one. You see him in this scene, and you see him on the bus later, and that's about it, right?
Dude, they peaked with the Ewoks, dude. It was just
Yeah.
all downhill from there.
ILM.
Yeah.
Will make
Sorry,
probably some of the
ILM.
greatest fucking visual effects ever put on screen in 4 years. But yeah, they went all downhill after the fucking Ewoks.
Hey, listen, dude. Listen, man.
Ewoks were the
Sometimes
end.
you gotta drop. Sometimes you gotta drop the fucking ball. All right, can't be the best all the time.
God. Well, there's also a new commercial too, which I love, which I guess was
love it.
originally supposed to be in the first movie. But it wasn't going to have Lewis and Janine in it, but I do love how they incorporate those two. Because Lewis also kind of lives at the firehouse. He's always there. But
Well,
also
he works there now. He does
Why
their
not?
taxes.
Yeah, but he has to be there every day, all the time. Okay.
Sure.
All the time. Yep.
Why not? He's employed.
I do love the one scene where he goes to open the door. He opens the big door, but then he opens the little door and he's just kind of doing circles around the doors. Because
Yeah.
the firehouse, the big door with the little door.
I never
Oh.
understood those fucking doors, dude. Like, why do you open a small door to have 3 feet of door still to step over?
It's a great question.
I don't fucking get it. It's just
I just
What if
want
it was
big
an
door
emergency?
and then a little door and then another little door and it's just a bunch of little doors. It just keeps going down and down.
it's like a Russian doll door.
Why is he fucking Billy stuck again? Because he tried to go into the third door. Help me.
It's the only one that would open.
So they do testing on the ooze and they find out that it reacts to emotions and mostly anger though, because the 2 guys are yelling at it. And then things get weird after the fact because they're like, okay, relax, Ray. And Venkman's just like, is this what you do at night? Is this what you do
Are
with
you
your spare
sleeping with
time?
it?
Oh, that's when it got weird because they
Yeah.
both Ray and Egon look at each other like,
Shit, he found out.
does it.
No, that
It's
wasn't
so-
me. That was
They're doing
Patricia.
weird. They're doing weird shit to the slime. That's all I gotta say. But they do it.
like fucking a bottle of gack, dude.
That's what I'm saying. It's like it's,
Probably feels good. I mean, what?
Busting makes him feel good,
there you
dude.
go. There you
They
go,
do the
dude.
toaster test where they put some slime in the toaster and it bounces all over the place and they sing and
Mhm.
dance and they do a little jig. The Pete visits Dana at the museum, and that's when he also meets Janosch because as soon as Pete shows up, Janosch just shows up. He's like, "Oh, Dana, aren't you going to introduce me to your friend?"
He goes, "Where are you from?" The Upper West Side. It's so fucking good. But the security
Oh, was
guard
it? No, that wasn't that later when they all show up because this is just when Pete goes to the museum
No,
by himself.
I think this is when
'Cause it-
Peter meets him. Because
Yeah, but I thought later on is when they all show up and he gets all like wiry and he's like, no, everybody leave. And they're like, where are you from? Upper West Side?
Oh, maybe.
I thought
it's
that's
one
when
of
that
the
happened, but
directions.
whatever.
But I love
no,
the
this is when we
security
get the-
guard. He goes, Peter Fakeman. And he goes,
Yeah.
yeah. And he goes, the Fantastic Mysteries, whatever. And he goes, it was my second favorite show. He goes, like, oh, what was your first one? Bassmasters. You know,
Hey,
with
dude.
the fish.
Bassmasters
Yeah, I
classic,
know what
dude.
Bassmasters is. And don't get me
I
wrong,
thought-
Bassmasters was always on TV at my house
Yeah.
because my stepdad is an avid bass fisherman. So he was like Bassmasters. Holy shit, was always on TV. No, my favorite thing is when he goes up to the painting and he's joking about Dan's over there fishing.
I gotta do something.
He's over at the painting and he's like joking around how he's gonna like paint something into the painting, and Jano's just getting all bent out of shape, and they walk away, and his line is like, "Oh, you're not gonna get a green card that way."
He's such a fucking dickhead, dude. Like, it's such an asshole.
And that's when Dana literally tells P, she's like, "I don't like that painting. It always looks like it's staring at me." Because it is. The painting actually was a photograph. It wasn't actually a painting, and it's actually at ILM.
Oh, cool. Joe Lascola has
Sweet.
one hanging up in his house. I kind of want one too, but my wife said no.
Can you put it above the shitter?
I 100% would hang one in here. This is the room where I can hang whatever I want.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is my room, so
Even dong.
Hang dong. There we go.
you never know what happens in this
Yeah,
room.
absolutely.
What happens in this
I'm
room
not
stays
judging.
in this room.
There you go.
So we then see Dana giving her son a bath and having to take off her shirt, which I guess wasn't in the script. She just did it, or at least
Okay.
people think that's what she did. But I guess like between her and Ivan Reitman, neither of them knew who came up with the idea of taking off the shirt. And I was like,
Probably Bill Murray.
yeah, he wasn't even there.
Yeah.
Make sure she takes
Make her
off
take
her
her shirt.
shirt. And you're like,
What?
Bill's not supposed to be here today. What the hell?
And he's holding up a newspaper. Like, it's got eye,
Show us your
he's got
tit.
eye holes cut in the newspaper, just holding it up.
Oh my god, what year is this? This is 40s. That's how we were pervs back then. But yeah, the ooze starts coming out of the bathtub and it starts to attack them, so they leave and go to Pete's. Ray and Egon decide, well, we're gonna go to Dana's and see what's going on there. And then we're back with Pete, and he gives Oscar a New York Jets Joe Namath sweatshirt. And I have to be very specific because my brother, who does listen to the show once in a while, is a Jets fan, and literally has to make it known that is a New York Jets shirt from a prior girlfriend, or like a prior girlfriend's friend who got it from Joe Namath or something like that.
And he doesn't want to know how she got it.
No.
Yeah.
So this is when they all go to the museum, and this is when like Jano's just all like bent out of shape, and he's just like
Suck
coming.
it
He's
in,
like,
boys.
no, everybody. Yeah, it's like
Suck it in, boys. We're the Ghostbusters.
Dan Aykroyd ain't able to suck it in no more.
No, dude,
Dan
That
Aykroyd
was
is a big
good.
boy now.
it was good.
Who
is that?
but yeah.
He's yours, Ray. Sick him.
There you go.
Yeah, but this is when Pete shows up and he's not in the getup. And from what I remember hearing, from years past, was that he didn't want to wear it that day. Like it was just one of those days where he just wanted to wear what he had on, and he didn't want to wear the pack. He just showed up. So there you go. There's Bill Murray for you.
It sits pretty about par for the course for him in most of this movie.
Yeah.
Because the guys are always dressed up and he's not.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
why the fuck is he here? Go away. Go do
Because
your
I feel,
show.
I feel a lot.
I know.
And also I feel, people loved him in the first one. They want him back in the
I
second one.
know.
Bill Murray was a popular actor back in the day. And there was literally some original behind the scenes footage from this movie where there were like women is like, oh my God, Bill Murray's so hot. And I went, what are you talking about? Bill
Yeah.
Murray's never been attractive.
Dude.
What are we
Nope.
talking
Somebody
about? Are
thought
we
it.
just so limited back in the 80s? Or we're just like, Bill Murray.
Yep.
I was like, I would have fucking went after Dan Aykroyd before Bill Murray.
Yeah, Dan Aykroyd.
Tough times.
Dan Aykroyd was a good looking dude when he was on SNL.
Dan Aykroyd could, yeah.
Parker should
You-
say Dan Aykroyd could get it. Is that what you're just about to say?
Yeah, Dan Aykroyd could get it. Harold Ramis, fucking,
Hell yeah, dude.
absolutely, fucking,
Ernie Hudson.
Ernie Hudson.
There you go, man.
Rice.
Winston.
Oh man, that scene's so good. But yeah, I do love Venkman doing the photo shoot. And he's like, give me this. Ooh, I like this angle. Oh yeah, give it to me. I was like, I've worked with better, but not many.
And how many?
And Ray is like getting hypnotized by the painting as he is
Yep.
studying it.
Because of his
This-
childlike sense of wonder. You know, that's what that's leaning
Yeah,
into.
that's the reason why we got the Stay Puffed in the first one.
Exactly. I love it. I love Ray.
Dan Aykroyd's acting and his like facial expressions in both movies are just so good. Like when Stay Puffed gets summoned, and it's just that like shocked but like bewilderment look on his face as they're just like, "What did you do, Ray?"
Yeah, like
And
fuck.
he's just telling the story. Well, you know, I just remember my dad sitting around the fire and we would eat Stay Puft marshmallows.
It's a Stay Puft Marshmallow, man.
It's a Stay Puft. The kaiju moment.
I love it.
So good. So Pete asked Dana out. And this is also a weird one where like Dana comes out of the shower and just doesn't get dressed. She's just walking around in this towel and then let go. I'm like, what is fucking happening? Like you're trying to make it like you don't want to get back with him, and then you're doing shit like this, and it's just a weird message. Also, I hate this relationship. I hate this relationship. I said it at the end.
Yes.
I said it in the last episode for Ghostbusters. This relationship makes no fucking sense. She should have never been attracted to him in any way. He's a creep. But yet, here we are.
Yep.
It's weird. I woke up with fucking track marks in my arm, and I don't know. Did you dose me up with something when I was possessed? That's what she loved.
Your addiction.
Yeah, it's weird.
I think your addiction
It's really
just came
weird.
back, and I was trying to stop you. It's like,
Yeah, slapped it out of your hand.
even worse, bro. Even worse. So we're the guys are checking out the pictures that Venkman took of the painting, and they find like this aura around it. Whereas like there is some sort of spirit in there, so there's something going on. But also I can't. What else do they see in the painting before it bursts into flames?
The river of slime.
The river of slime.
River, yep.
Yeah. And then once that happens, it you know, all the pictures go up in flames. I guess that was a reshoot. Like that was something they shot after the movie was done because they wanted to put more of the tension and like some scary moments into the movie. Because Ivan Reitman even came out and said like we focused a lot on Dana and Pete to the point where we felt like some of the other guys were getting sidelined too much. So we put that scene in there, which was good because Winston saves him because Winston's the fucking best.
Like the door.
Even he doesn't get used enough in this fucking movie.
But he gets used way more in this than he does in the first one. So
Yeah,
he does. That's correct.
the first one, it's kind of tragic when you read about why he wasn't used as much in the first one. I'm like, you bastards. I hate that they also didn't use him a lot in the promotional posters. But
so lame. So lame.
Winston
Is he
rocks.
in this one?
Right?
He's in this one.
No, in 2, not in the original.
Oh, yeah, in 2. This is 2.
No, the original Ghostbusters.
Oh,
84.
Yeah.
They didn't use him a lot in the promotional posters. So they go down to the old subway track where the river of slime is, and this is where you hear Winston, and then you get the floating disembodied heads, and I was like, that shit's scary. You show that to a child, that's a scary fucking moment, and it's really good. Then my favorite is the ghost train. Because Winston doesn't get out of the way and his hair is just everywhere. Like, I was like, oh god, it's so good.
That was the old train that crashed on here. Did you happen to get the train number? Sorry, I missed it. But I like right before they go down, like they run into Peter Venkman like on the street and like, hey, we're gonna go down. We found this information. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. And Pete goes, let me guess. All you can eat ribs at the Sizzler. Because they're wearing fucking raincoats.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. But
yes,
I do love though, where he turns to Dana and he's just like, so the guys want to go down, try to find this river of slime. So what do you think we just ditch this place and join them? And then she, of course, has that like goofy smirk on her face and she calls a taxi. And he's like, sorry, boys. And then he leaves.
Women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you motherfucker, dude.
But so oh, go ahead.
Suplex the train, and if you know, you know. Carry on.
There you go.
Well, they find the river of slime, and of course they have Winston do the measuring, and then it gets caught. Like he just caught a fucking marlin. He's fucking trying to reel it in. He's like, I can't.
Bassmasters.
Wow! Yeah, it comes back.
Yeah.
It's a callback. That dude's down there fishing. I found it too.
Dude,
He's in the river.
he's standing there and just
He's got waders on.
yeah.
Hey guys.
He had the waiters
found the
blessed, so
slime!
he's fine if he stays in it.
Right?
Oh god. But yeah, he falls in and then they just jump in. And I do love the effect of Winston poking up from the river slime doesn't look great, but it's still funny. He's like, he's like farther down.
Yeah.
Oh man. So then we're back with Pete and Dana. They kind of rekindle their thing at the restaurant. We're also with we go to see that Janine is babysitting with Lewis. She invites him. It was a little bit earlier that it happens. That's where we get the whole thing. It was like, just meet me at his house at 8 o'clock. And he's like, 8 o'clock at Peter Venkman's address. I guess I'll have to get it from his W-2.
Yeah. I was gonna say,
and I love when the car
8
beeps at him and he moves out of the way and he's just directing traffic. I love Lewis so much, man. Rick Moranis is the fucking man, and I miss him.
Yeah.
I wish. I think it would have been a bright spot if he came back for Frozen Empire.
I think we need Afterlife. That's where it should have been.
We needed a lot of things in Frozen Empire. It wasn't just Louis Tully. It was
like ghosts.
It was actual Ghostbusting. Like the title of the movie. But I digress. Janine seduces Lewis, and there's a shot where she's literally holding a fucking clear ball, and they zoom right in there, and I was like, Jesus.
Subtlety.
Little 10-year-old me is like, rewind, play. Rewind.
Pause.
Play.
Parker, why is this
Enhance.
Brett, why is this tape all crinkled right here in this spot of the movie?
Nothing.
It was nothing.
Oh god.
Oh my god, dude.
But so we're back with the guys. They're crawling out of the manhole. They're covered in the slime. I guess they had to do this shot they had to do it like 2 or 3 times because I guess they got it perfectly, but the film didn't capture it right. So literally they got out, got all changed, and they were like, yeah, we got to do it tomorrow. Dan Aykroyd's like, you son of a bitch.
Fuck.
Oh, fuck it.
But yeah, they start to...
I'd be so pissed.
Oh my god, I would have been so angry. But they get out and they start fighting because they find out that the slime is pure concentrated evil. And so they got to strip off their clothes and they got to go find Pete. And the restaurant doesn't do a great job at stopping these dudes. They just like, please, you can't come in, please. And things are happening and they go there to tell Pete what's going on about the slime and how there's a shit ton of it. And
they just like moving
Ray's flinging shit all over fucking patrons. And but like Dana's like listening. She's like, whoa, really? What's going on? Like she's like, she's concerned. And that's why Sigourney Weaver's such a good fucking actor, because it makes sense that she would react like this, even though it's weird that these fucking 3 dudes are in here covered in this shit. But like, if it has to do with her child, she's gonna care about it. Where Pete is all about trying to get back that puss, and it's not going so well. So you get this is when you get like classic Venkman, where you're like, oh, this is shitty Venkman. I don't like this guy. Then they get arrested, and this is where we get the Bobby Brown song. Well, I guess they're gonna have to take control. And who should show up right as this song fucking starts playing? Fucking Bobby Brown as the doorman to the mayor's office.
What's one of those proton packs? They're not toys. Yes.
I fucking love that song, On Your Own by Bobby Brown. It is so good. Like when it comes to the songs that Ghostbusters has, like in both movies, like the Ghostbusters theme song and On Your Own are pretty even for me. I fucking love them both so much.
Sure. And
the fact that it was like perfect that they got Bobby Brown to show up literally as the song starts playing, fucking chef's kiss. Because literally I was like, is that fucking Bobby Brown? I was like, holy shit. I never realized that it was him all the times I've seen this movie until yesterday.
5 years later.
Yeah. Dun, 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 dun.
Bobby Brown.
Blam, blam. Oh man. So Dana goes home, catches Lewis and Janine getting it on. Not really, they're just making out. I mean, I don't know. Louis seems like a dude who's probably never had sex before. He's probably a virgin, right? You think so?
I don't know. I mean, he sweeps the leg after, Janine's like, maybe we should help her. And he goes, maybe we should not.
Yeah.
And
And then they just continue on her couch. They don't go anywhere else. They're just like, let's just do this.
yeah.
I love how Dana
Nobody
just doesn't
cares.
care. She just doesn't give a shit. She's like, is Oscar all right? They're like, yeah, he's great. Yeah, he's just such a good baby.
They gave him some fucking was it some French bread pizza?
Pizza, and he just passed right out. He's
Dude.
such a good baby. I love Annie Potts, man. She's so good.
So good. Oh, so good.
So the boys meet with the mayor, and he's not
Lenny.
believing Lenny, and he's not believing the slime story. And of course, he just pretty much is like, this is where we get the line where it's like, it's every New Yorker's God-given right to be, pretty much be a piece of shit.
Mm-hmm.
And the assistant, instead of getting them arrested, he gets them committed. And I love how everyone, as they're being brought in, everyone is just like flipping out, like, you can't do this to us. And Bill Murray's just like, just getting fucking.
Not his first time. He should have had like the Hannibal Lecter mask on.
No, that would have been great. They all get wheeled in.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is where we see Bill Murray's brother as the psychiatrist. And so we then are back with Janosch. He's getting more instructions from Vigo. And he says, I want the baby. And Janosch is like, well, if I get the baby for you, can I have the girl? And he's like, so be it. And then he's like, go. Get out of here.
Deal or no deal.
Yeah. Oscar goes for a walk. He takes a little venture outside, and it's terrifying. As a parent, this is
normal shit.
scary as shit. And of course, this is where we get one of the probably spookiest moments of this movie is when Ghost Janosch, dressed up as a nanny, bringing a fucking baby carriage. Just I'll get you, my pretty. Your little soul, too. And fucking elongates his arm to grab the baby and put him in. And then just rides off. Oh, man.
Hits him with the doll scene.
But the crazy thing is like, Dana knows exactly who it is when it, like, she goes in there. It's like, who was that? It's like, it was Janosch. And I went, all right, no subtlety there.
There you go.
She just knew. She's fine with it. She just accepts it.
So this is when the boys are talking to the psychiatrist, talking about the whole slime story and everything. I just love the psychiatrist. Just like, all right, guys. I love when he talks about, he says something to Venkman. Venkman's like, these guys are all, I don't know what you're talking about. These guys are all crazy.
Yeah, but like Dan Aykroyd's like telling the story, and then the doctor goes, can someone here just tell this to me in fucking English? And that's when he looks at Bill Murray, dude.
He's like, I think these guys are completely nuts. Dana gets to the baby at the museum, and she gets the backstory of why he needs the baby, because he's going to transfer his soul or whatever into the baby and become the vessel. I was like, but what is it? So what happens after that? Does he just kind of grow into an adult like fairly quickly, or does Janosch have to take care of him like a baby again? Like,
Janosch, wipe my ass.
100%.
Well, he does mention the fact, it's like, oh, wouldn't it? You should be so lucky. You're gonna be the mother of a fucking demon or whatever it was.
Janosch, tuck me in.
Yeah, I really hope he's a baby. Just has a deep, gravelly voice. Janosch, feed me
the extra sensitive wipes.
Yeah, right, Dan.
Janosch, I have a rash on my ass.
Janosch, my tum-tum.
Oh, God. So the ooze releases a bunch of ghosts. And I love the one that got the biggest laugh from my wife was the coat.
Oh, yeah.
That just runs down the street. That was it. So that was supposed to be in the original as well. That was an idea for the original movie.
The ferrets, yeah.
Yeah. And then we got Pier 34, and it's like, what do you mean a boat has landed at Pier 34? It's the Titanic. And then Venkman goes, better late than never. And it's just Cheech. Like, what's Cheech Marin doing here?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
But fun fact, Pier 34 was the actual dock that the Titanic was supposed to go to if it actually made it to New York.
Did it?
Wouldn't half the boat only make it?
That's what I'm saying.
What?
Well, I mean, it broke in half.
So then we go to Pier
Like,
17.
do both halves make
Oh yeah,
it?
and
Is it
at
like,
this time they would have known that the Titanic split in half because it was discovered in '86.
So
yeah, you're
are
right.
you telling me?
so like
Why is the boat a ghost?
I don't know.
It's a ghost ship, right?
even in Ghost Ship, the
It's
boat
cool,
wasn't a
okay?
ghost.
I was
That's
a
what I'm saying.
fan.
That's what I'm saying. Like in Ghost Ship, like it's an actual fucking boat. And this
God damn it!
one's
Is that Ferryman again? Son of a bitch!
Ferryman.
God damn it,
Deal
Ferryman!
with you,
Mud,
Ferryman.
Mudvayne fucking playing in the back.
No, not Ferryman. Then we're like in the room with all the cops. You have the commissioner who's played by the dude who played the library cop from Seinfeld. We have Bob Stein. Bob Stein. You want to have some eye drops? Bueller.
Yeah,
It's Ben Stein.
Bueller.
Clear Eyes.
Oh, Ben Stein, not Bob Stein. Why did I write Bob Stein?
It's close enough.
Yes, I got his last
Whatever.
name right.
Whatever.
He's also in
We
another
all were.
movie.
We
He's
all
also in
wear
another
masks.
movie about ghosts. He was in Casper as well.
Yeah, he's
For a
also
very
in The
small
Mask.
amount of time.
He's in
Motherfucker.
Dan's favorite movie, The Mask.
Yeah. I love
Oh
The Mask.
yeah.
Yeah.
Smoking.
We all wear
Dude.
masks.
Then the idiot assistant gets fired, and you get the mayor go, "Give me the Ghostbusters," because I love the whole thing where the assistant's trying to like rectify what he's doing, and the mayor's like, "You didn't just sit down with I can't remember the first name of the guy,
To?
LaGuardia, the guy who they named the airport after." He's like, and he's been dead for 40 years.
I sat up last night for 4 hours talking to so and so LaGuardia. He's been dead for 40 years. Where's the fucking Ghostbusters? I don't know why I was Boston all of a sudden, but
It's like, what is going on?
yeah.
I'm just gonna let him go. Just let him go, everybody.
Yeah.
So yeah, they get released, and they get to the museum, and this like a slime like vortex around the museum. And there's actually a deleted scene where the mayor's assistant like is still around, like he's still there, and he shows up, and he's just like, "What is this? We don't even know what this is." And he literally is like, "I'll take care of it." And he literally walks up to the slime thing and like gets sucked into it, and it's like, well, he did.
Yep.
I really wish we actually got that scene, but whatever. So Janosch, he's doing a great job talking Dana into falling in love with him. Not really.
You couldn't learn to love me.
Yeah, yeah, that accent. Oh, I'm wet.
So good.
So sexy.
So they get to the slime ball, and they try to use the proton packs, which I guess this movie is the first time you actually hear them refer to them as the proton packs, because down in the train track when they're walking, they go, "Hey, you think we should go back and get the proton packs?" Because they don't they never mention it in the first one, and I don't think, of course, they probably don't mention it in the show. So this was like the first ever time you actually heard them say it.
Yeah, they called it a positron collider in the first one.
Yeah, or a nuclear. Was it a
nuclear accelerator?
Accelerator, yeah.
That's fine.
Somebody will yell at me for how I'm saying it.
Dude, that's my favorite fucking part. Like, what the elevator wall gonna do for you, Egon?
Yeah, it's so good.
But yeah, they find out the packs do nothing, and so they're like, "Well, we need to find a beacon of hope to release this energy. So where do we go? We're gonna go to the Statue of Liberty." And what's the first thing that Venkman says as soon as they get there? You think she's naked under that toga? She's is French.
Sheesh.
So they get inside. Oh, I got dirty. They get inside the Statue of Liberty.
All four of them?
Oh, and well, it's not done yet, and they start squirting goo all inside her.
Oh,
just like Parker's wall with his cut in half.
Sigourney Weaver.
Talking about earlier. Sigourney Weaver.
It's like target practice.
Yeah, he's just Before he has friends over, he just has like a fucking squeegee.
Oh my god,
Wicks
dude.
it into a bucket.
Parker's like, I need to hide the black light and nobody can fucking see it.
Mom, don't flip that switch. The black light comes in the whole
But
wall.
why do you have a black light if you know that's what's gonna happen? Oh my god.
I have it so I know where not to stand.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yuck.
So oh god. So yeah, she comes to life and we get the same I think it's the same exact shot from before, but it's Cheech again.
Oh, look at
Oh man, then we get the suit up. Lewis's suit up. And
top tier.
Earmuffs.
Top tier.
they say that a hero can save
Right?
us.
So good.
Yeah,
He's just using the
earmuffs in the back.
he just used the proton packs like swinging from building to building.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah. My wife's like, why is he wearing earmuffs? I'm like, it's probably fucking cold.
cold.
It's
New
cold,
Year's.
and I love
It's
when
gotta
he's
be cold.
running. He's like, "Oh, these are heavy," and it's like, I guess because that
Oh,
was like the
yeah.
major complaint from the cast was like the proton packs were so
Let's say
heavy.
you goes, stay sharp, stay nimble, stay ready. And then
And he goes to
stands
the
up
bus
right
shop.
at the bus stop.
And he almost he's like, "Oh, you got your license? Okay, I guess so." Just gets
Okay.
on the bus with Slimer as the bus driver.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Oh man, but that's one of that's one of my favorite suit ups of all time, dude. Because Lewis
Oh,
looks
God.
great.
Yes, and of course it's that slow, like seductive zip up from Janine. You're
dude.
like,
Oh, you
I
know
like-
she's not.
ima-
She's starting
Yo,
from the dick.
There's an alternate cut where it's like she starts to zip and it just stops because he's got such a fucking hard on. He's like,
She's-
"Oh, we got to tuck that in there."
He's got like his foot up on the wall, like, trying to pull it up. Oh,
Oh, Lewis, I didn't
Wait a
know
minute,
you were so
that was-
well endowed.
Is that a neutrino wand in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?
Lewis's his code name is the Hammer.
That's what it is. Yeah,
Motherfucker.
fuck that shit.
He's
dude.
like, that bitch looking for me.
yeah.
I
But
guess
she's like trying to zip it up, but she's like not with the zipper. She just has his dick in her hand and it goes up to his chest. She's like, oh, okay.
Oh,
He has to wear like a strap around it to hold it to his chest so it doesn't like flop.
tapes it around. Yeah.
Yeah, a couple places.
oh. I didn't think we were gonna stay this long on this job, but you know what? I'm not mad about it.
Drop some baby powder, prevents chafing.
Yes.
There you go.
God, that's the fucking worst.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Dick
man.
chafing
Yeah.
or baby
Just
powder?
chafing. Period, man. It's
Okay.
the worst.
That's fair. Yes.
I got thick boy thighs. You know, sometimes when it gets sweaty, those things rub together a little bit, and it's like,
It's a
walking
new
around Disney
definition.
for
Well,
like
especially with
9-10
that-
hours in a fucking
It's gotta be tough with
humid day.
that third leg, baby. You need like a fucking tripod in
Yeah.
there.
Like,
Oh, you hear when you're walking, it's just slapping. What the hell's happening?
God damn it.
That's
dude.
why he can't go to the beach anymore because there's always it's footprints, and then there's like a solid line right in the middle the whole fucking time.
That's why I had
Parker,
to wear
do
the
you have
long ones.
Parker, do you have a tail? Yeah.
Sure, in the front.
Anyways, back to Ghostbusters.
So we get the walk down the street with the Statue of Liberty, and there's one moment where the Statue of Liberty just looks like a woman in a costume, and then there's other shots where it actually looks like the Statue of Liberty. I guess there was someone from ILM that had to wear the Statue of Liberty suit to walk with. I love how they're using an NES controller, like one of the game pads. It's so great. Oh man, I miss those days. I mean, I wasn't born yet, but I miss the NES days.
Yeah. Can this ain't go any faster? No, we should have padded her feet. Oh, they don't
Yeah.
make Nike her size, Ray.
Yep. Product placement.
So we're back at the museum, and the Vigo. Oh man, when they do this like superimposed face of Vigo on the baby, I was like, oh no!
And he's just fucking big smile, and he's like,
I was like, please don't do that.
That's a child, sir. Stop.
But thank God the guys show up just in time to smash through the top of this museum, and the baby
Happy
gets
New
and
Year!
Dana takes the baby, and then Venkman takes the baby and hides him, and then Dana gets wrapped up with a hose that just drops out of the ceiling. All right,
Yeah.
Normal.
okay.
Yeah. It's part of the
And
exhibit.
yeah.
Yep.
And then Vigo just kind of comes out and is just walking around now, chilling. It's like, "What's up?" And then he like electrocutes them all to the point that they're like stunned, they can't move. And then Venkman's like talking shit to him,
I love it.
but he like has the baby in his hand.
Of
He's
all
like,
places,
he's gonna like suck the.
You end up in because he goes. He's talking about going to California, San Fernando Valley or some shit like that.
Oh yeah,
But we're talking about
yeah,
Vigo the Carpathian, right? Not Vigo the Butch. Dude, that is a good one that got me with Bill Murray. Remember, he goes, "Oh, I heard they called him Vigo the Butch." Pretty fucking funny, man.
Yeah. Well, I guess he was modeled after Vlad the Impaler, who was also the influence for Dracula, because of like the history they gave him in this movie. But they, Venkman's talking mad shit. He's just holding the baby. I was waiting for him to like suck his soul or something like that. Just like open his mouth and just like fucking beam. Yeah, he just swallows him. Just
like
oh,
jaw
God.
just goes down here.
Yeah, like, oh! It's
Yep,
like
yeah.
have you ever seen Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark?
Mhm.
The movie.
Yes.
The woman who
Yes.
who just absorbs that one kid, and you're like, oh my God, dude, that movie. Dude, the books are way better, but that movie rules.
Yeah.
I actually really like that movie.
That movie is fucking good, yeah. Stop it, it smells like cheese.
The Jangly Man. Yeah, so the singing starts happening outside the museum, which is causing him to freak out, and the freak out is classic. It's just like the fucking throwing his head back like
This kid's dying of shaking babies.
He is.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, damn, bro.
It's like a My Buddy doll. Like,
And as they think everything is done, Vigo like takes over Ray's body and like turns around and it's like Ray's got that like weird face. It's like, whoa, and just like slime him. And he slimes Ray, and they are able to vanquish Vigo back to wherever the fuck he came from.
Carpathia.
Yeah, he just went back to the country.
Upper West Side.
Upper
West Side, yeah.
He's just sitting in a chair now, like, fuck. Damn Ghostbusters.
But that whole time, dude.
I'll try next year.
Yeah, that next New Year's Eve. But fucking that whole time, Louis Tully's out there doing work to the building.
Even though
he
technically didn't do anything, but I love how he's getting props, dude. He gets props, man. Everybody's like, "Good job," man. He's like, surprised at what he just
I'm
did.
a Ghostbuster.
Oh, so good. Fun fact though, if the Ghostbusters didn't stop Vigo, the end of the world would have happened on New Year's Day, which is what Kevin Dunn stated earlier in the movie.
Yeah. Yep. The strike of midnight.
So Lewis gets praised, and and we get the new Ghostbusters painting, which I remember one of the first podcasts I ever listened to, which kind of was a heavy influence on this show. The host of the show is a huge Ghostbusters fan, and he always had that poster behind him. It was like a full size, like fucking filled his whole wall.
Awesome.
That poster's great, yeah. And that's it.
It's a fettuccine, you know?
Yeah. That's it, though. That's Ghostbusters 2 from 1989. What did we all think of it after our latest viewing? We'll start, of course, with our guest, Dustin. What is your thoughts after watching, after talking about it? Is this as bad as everybody says it is?
No, and that's just one of those things where it's like, of course, it's a little goofier than the first one, but again, they're just trying to capitalize on the time and the era and the money and all that shit, dude. I mean, there's nothing wrong with this movie, you know. So, other than Bobby Brown, that's about it.
Yeah, probably.
You take that back. No,
oh
God.
Listen, Bobby Brown, not a great guy, but
no. But this is absolutely my favorite sequel movie of all time.
Hey, I love it.
That's fair.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get to me last. Dan, what about you?
All right. First off, I want to take a moment and give a special thanks to Dustin for being here for this and helping me float this fucking movie with Parker, because I did not have a lot to say, because after watching these movies, I'm just not a Ghostbusters guy. Like I just have determined I'm just not a Ghostbusters guy.
That's fair.
And they're not. It's not that they're bad movies. That's thing. Like I said last time, the first one was fine. I don't think this was as good as the first one. I struggled a little bit getting into it. I really, like Parker said, I do not see the appeal of Bill Murray's character Peter Venkman, and I don't really care for most of the people around him, like the new guys. Like I just did not give a shit about, like, give two shits about him. There were, and my wife said this, and I'm going to give you Angela stuff at the end here, but there's some funny bits to it, and there's some parts that I enjoyed genuinely, but I'm done. I'm done watching these movies. Like I'm good. Like I never considered myself a hardcore Ghostbuster fan. I used to watch, the animated series and shit, but it's fine. If this is what it's not a bad movie. Like I said, it's really not bad, but it's not as good as the first. And that's all I can say. I feel like it's relevant to say.
Hey, no judgment here.
No, absolutely. I mean, you should.
To be honest,
because after
Frozen Empire, I'm on the kind of the place where I'm just like, I'm okay if we don't get another one for a while, like, or just retire the original guys. Like, stop trying to force them into these new ones.
I don't need the legacy. I don't need the legacy characters anymore. I want to care about a new team.
I didn't mind them showing up at the end of Afterlife. I didn't. I thought it was a final.
Okay, that's a good
final
passing
touch
of the torch.
Yes, because you had the whole thing with Egon and all that stuff, so it was like a perfect ending to them. But to kind of shoehorn them back in, like, especially like, why are we constantly bringing? Like, Bill Murray was in that movie for like 2 seconds, fucking Frozen Empire, and it was like, I don't care. Like, I do like what they did with Ray. I do like like I think Winston and Ray were done very well in Frozen Empire. They weren't my issue with that movie. That issue, there are so many issues with that movie, and I don't want to get into it now. We're going to do an episode on it at some point down the road. We still got to do a whole episode on Afterlife and all that. So at some point we'll get to those two. But as for me with Ghostbusters 2, I was watching this movie going, I don't understand why people don't like this movie. And to be honest, I didn't even know people didn't like this movie until I started getting into podcasting. Like when I started the show and I was like, figuring out like what movies I'd like to talk about at some point. I was like, man, I can't wait to talk about Ghostbusters 1 and 2. And then like when people would talk about Ghostbusters 2, it's like, it's fucking awful. Or it's like, it's just nowhere near as good as the first one and stuff like that. And I after watching it last night, I went, this movie fucking rules, man. This movie is still fun. It still has great effect work. It's still fucking hilarious. It like, I don't understand. Like my biggest complaint, and I remember when I would watch the last time I had watched it, was my biggest complaint was I didn't like how drastically they changed Janine. But after rewatching it, I went, you know what? It's not as drastic as I remember. Like I think she just moved on from Egon, and because she clearly had a thing for him in the first one, and I guess there was supposed to be some sort of relationship after it, but I guess nothing happened with it. I'm okay with it. Supposedly he had a wife and a kid, and fucking never sees them again or whatever, which is the whole thing with Afterlife. But
it is 5 years later.
Yeah, this movie's fun as hell, man. This movie's great. This movie is definitely. I have to do Ghostbusters 1 and 2 back to back every time I watch it. Like I feel like I can't just watch Ghostbusters. I have to watch Ghostbusters 2 because they fit so well together, and it's fun, man. It's more Ghostbusters, so I'm all in. Now we're going to go over to social media and see what you all had to say. And boy, oh boy, we got a lot of responses. And I'm going to read every single one of them because I don't skimp out, okay? And the first one was actually a quote tweet over on X or Twitter. Actually, I'm going to call it Twitter.
Don't do that shit. Don't do quote tweets. You fucking tweet. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
From Jason from Binge Movies, who says, I'm sorry, but I wasn't invited to be a part of this episode. He's also a fellow mega Ghostbusters fan. I decline to answer. I'll be flaming this online.
Yes, fucking do
Which
it.
I cordially invited him last second to be on the episode, but clearly he declined. So I guess we're just going to have to deal with whatever wrath he wants to bring once the episode is out.
There you go.
Yes.
Our friend Antonio from the Cultworthy Studios says, I wore my suit in Ghostbusters Proton Pack to the theater in 1989. Hell yeah.
There you go.
Our good friend Darren Lundberg from NostalgiaCast and Back to Bluey says, it's weird that you read the history of Ghostbusters 1 and how they released it unfinished to theaters, which we forgot to mention in that episode that they literally screened it without the ending, and they loved it. And so they were like, okay, I guess we'll just do whatever we want for that ending. And yeah.
Okay.
But it was held together by prayer in the thinnest of plots, and we love it. Ghostbusters 2 is more confidently made and is actually about something, yet it's awkward and clunky and doesn't work half as well. All right.
Thank you, Darren.
Yeah.
Diabolical Pod says, I'm a huge fan. I love World of the Psychic, Egon's Emotion Lab, and Ray's Occult. The court case, the busting montage, the later haunting montage, the sewers, the statue walk, and the haunted painting. High concept stuff and Will Riley funny. It also got a nod in our Michael Clayton episode this week as one of the best mentions of French bread in film.
Oh.
They gave it some French bread pizza.
Pizza. Gaming Pizza Boy said, I loved the sequel.
Hey, that's nice segue.
Yeah.
There
You said Gaming Pizza Boy, so I mean, you're rolling into it.
Did I miss something? Oh, because we were talking about French bread pizza?
Yes. Hey, listen, not the coolest thing that's ever been
Checking
done with
off.
French bread. I beat
Clicking,
my
logging off,
child
see you
with
later.
French bread. So you know.
What? Excuse
me? I beat my child with French bread.
There you go.
All right.
So no, hold on. There's story. There's context. Okay. I gotta have something to talk about this episode. I fucking tried, all right? When Victor was my oldest son, Victor, here was shocker. There's his name. I always said when he was little, and my wife can attest, I said, when that kid gets old enough, I'm gonna pummel him with a baguette. Like, because he was just a pain in the ass when he was a kid. The kids are like, listen, if you have kids, you know, sometimes your kids are a pain in the ass. His 13th birthday, sure as shit, I got a loaf of French bread. I snuck up behind him and just like, wow, bam, right in the back, and like broke part of it. I didn't hurt him. He grabs it and like starts hitting me with it.
Got his ass.
No shit. Since he was a little kid, I always said that, but I fucking followed through. So stick to your word, people. That's the message of this whole fucking
There you
review. Go ahead, Parker, and the gentleman that I cut off that you were talking about.
At Gaming Pizza Boy said, I love the sequel, though the first one still gets me, of course. The second movie had some pretty cool moments, though. At Movies for Days says, like it, don't love it. Patron in front of the show, Chris, or at Rudy5453 says, 2 is a fun ride. It's not the instant classic 1 was, but it has its moments and is genuinely fun.
What about the second video game, Rudy? Is that any good?
The two,
because I never played it.
What was that?
Ghostbusters 2
NES game?
Yeah, it was an NES game. It was another.
Have you guys
version,
played
I
the
think,
2009 game? That's supposed to be like
Ghostbusters, the game.
Yeah, where it was like a true sequel to the second one.
Yeah, it's
Ghostbusters the movie, the game.
It's a really good third movie. Yeah.
Sweet, dude. Oh, you know what? When we get done with this, I didn't give you Angela's input.
Yeah, well, I'll have you read it after this.
Yeah, I forgot.
All Things Movies are at that movie page says, I liked it. Peter McNichol is absolutely phenomenal in it. Nowhere near as good as the first, but it's not as bad as people would pretend it is. I agree. The Gentle Dorks podcast said, absolutely love the sequel and is a classic comedy that is watched at least once a year. Hell yeah. Adam from Remember the Game podcast says, better than it gets credit for.
You missed out, motherfucker.
At Just Filthy Gaming says, I love this movie. I think it is fantastic. I usually watch it right after I watch the first. I think people don't give it enough credit. I think it is my favorite sequel to a movie. So you're right with Dustin there.
You seem to be a lot of people that follow your guys' mindset.
Yeah. That's why I love doing this. And I love when we get a lot of responses because you get just responses kind of all over the place. And I love it. Totally 80s 90s Recall podcast says, overall pretty formulaic to the first and not as funny or fresh, but Peter McNichol as Janish is worth watching. Why am I dripping with Zagoo?
Why am I dripping with Zagoo? Man, I love you. Oh yes, I love you too, man.
Desert of the Real podcast says, I've never thought it worked in the same level as the first. A lot just feels derivative in trying to recapture lightning in a bottle. Or is it lightning in a bottle? Yeah, I think that's what he meant to say.
Yeah.
But it is a lot of fun seeing the boys interacting with each other and being their funny selves. Plus, it's got great practical effects. Agreed. Even though we all agree Slimer looks better in the first one.
Yes.
Wizard of Widgets says, saw it once, never again. Although I find the original Ghostbusters overrated, I can understand the charm and appeal of it to fans. Ghostbusters 2, by contrast, is just awful.
Okay, so the guy's got a similar mindset to me. Maybe not as far as that, but I respect it.
Yeah. I mean, everyone's allowed to have one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
assholes. Yeah.
Jesse, or J Master King
Two
1,
assholes.
says, though I'd praise the actors for their performances and it had interesting ideas, it was okay. But at least it's better than Ghostbusters 2016.
Get out of here.
Do you think finish. I don't want to discredit anybody else's comments.
The last one on Twitter is from Middle-Aged Bodcast, who just says, who you going to call? And it's just a gif of He-Man breaking Skeletor's hat.
Skeletor.
Yes. So badass, dude.
Go ahead, Dan, while I'm looking for the next set of comments.
Do you think if you had two assholes, it would be like the spot swirl ice cream? Like chocolate vanilla swirl
Are we
ice
talking
cream?
about like actual assholes?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because me and Dustin were doing like two assholes, and you were reading comments, and it was just kind of a thing between the two of us.
Okay.
Comment next video or on this video podcast after you listen to it, comment, send us if you agree.
Yeah.
Swirled
assholes.
Please comment.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yes, it's like the pudding that's two colors of brown. You got the layer in the middle, and then but it's swirl. Think about it.
Oh man.
Go ahead.
Big Optimist 33 over on Instagram or patron of the show, Daniel Collins, says, I love Ghostbusters 2 so much. The slime shooters and Vigo were great additions to the lore. The first movies will always be my favorite, or the first movie. Case Scalen 653 says, not as good as the first, but I'm still a fan. And Bucket of Chump podcast says, since Frozen Empire came out, this is no longer the worst Ghostbusters. It's a fun time, though.
Wait till they make Shark Busters, Steve. Yeah.
When there's something strange in
I'd
your
watch
bathtub, you gotta call Shark Busters.
Shark Busters.
What if it's tiny sharks?
I'm thinking it's like a proton
shark.
one that shoots sharks.
Oh, that'd be fucking sweet.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. Those are all the comments about Ghostbusters 2 from our wonderful audience out there. Hopefully everybody listens. That'd be great if all of you listen to the show and you get to hear your comment be read.
Yeah.
Because that's why I do it. I love reading these comments. It's great. We don't judge anyone on their opinions of the movies we're covering. If we loved a movie and you didn't, I'm not going to judge you for it. You know, everybody's got different tastes. Dustin doesn't like Jaws.
Well, at least not on this podcast.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I don't like Hulk Hogan. Dustin does. It is what it is.
Don't get with that. I like that movie we watched, not the Hulkster, brother.
Oh my God. So yeah, before we get to the end of the show nonsense that we do, Dan, would you like to read Angela's comments or thoughts on Ghostbusters 2 since she couldn't be here tonight?
I would 100%, and she sends her best to everybody.
No, we're gonna pretend we're gonna pretend she's dead, and we're gonna put a in the arms of the, and we're just gonna put a birth and death date. She'll be back.
I think what you should do is
in
post put a little wig on Dan.
Please,
yeah,
please. I'm gonna tell you about the pic.
Superimposer in there. This is a still.
Who's the motherfucker to
bounce movie?
Please, fucking please, make this happen. I am all for it.
Oh Lord.
Who the fuck played Batman in the Batman? I can't think of the guy's name.
Robert Pattinson.
So Angela sent me a picture of Robert Pattinson.
That's her thoughts on Ghostbusters
as
2?
his. What?
That's
now?
her thoughts on Ghostbusters 2, just Robert Pattinson.
No, this is immediately. It's a hand painted picture of Robert Pattinson as his character from Twilight, sucking the blood out of a tampon.
There you go.
Okay, sure. All right,
yep, just letting you know that's what I just got right before that picture. And this is her actual
Okay.
comment. That's the we're building
that all in. Don't care.
Preface. Absolutely, got to know. That's what the show's about. She said pretty much what I said earlier, but there's some funny moments. But she felt after the first one, like this one didn't need to happen. Like this second one was unnecessary to her.
So she didn't like it.
I assume so by that comment.
Oh.
Yeah, she said it shouldn't exist. That's pretty.
Wow.
All right.
Angela?
She said just go one into Afterlife. Like that's what they should have done. She feels, assuming.
What? All right.
Mhm.
Listen, I'm not going to give anybody else shit
Listen,
except
lady.
for
Listen, Linda.
Yeah, listen,
Things
Linda.
are getting
please,
things are getting
please
spicy.
send a message.
Oh my goodness.
Send a message in the group, please.
Yeah, no, I'll be there. I'll be in the DMs.
Yep.
All right. Well, as for next week, it is the end of Ghost Month already. Feels like it just started it yesterday. But next week is our Patreon pick. And you all went over to Patreon from the free tier all the way up to the highest tier we got. And you put your vote in between 3 movies. And I'm trying to remember all the movies 13 Ghosts, Dead Silence, and The Frighteners. And the winner for Ghost Month for September 2024 was 1996's The Frighteners from Peter Jackson. And we have a first-time guest, which I'm very, very excited for. We're going to have Logan from the Video Villa Entertainment Podcast joining us to talk about this one. This is one
Sweet.
I think I've only seen once, and it was when I was a kid. And for some reason, I just haven't seen it since. But I'm very excited to finally hop into Peter Jackson. You know what? We're probably going to cover all of Peter Jackson's movies that were before Lord of the Rings, before we even get to Lord of the Rings on this show. Because I am terrified to cover Lord of the Rings, because I swear people will attack me and like they will pillage if I fuck up any part of those movies. And I know I will.
Just their names. Just their names.
Oh, I'm going to... And if people are going to be like that, I'm going to purposely fuck up all their names. Because they're all ridiculous.
Yes, please. You should. You should, dude. 100%. You do not allow them to send the wrath of Mordor to you.
I mean, listen,
You'll light the torches.
I've mentioned it many, many times. I have literally seen Fellowship of the Ring, and that's about it. And I've seen it once.
I don't care for him.
Yeah.
You know what? I
think
think Lord of the Rings shouldn't exist. Okay, Angela?
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. You fucking tell her.
Yeah.
Yeah. The best one that's connected is the animated Hobbit from 1977. It's the best fucking one.
Maybe we'll cover that
one.
I'll die on the hill. I want to so fucking bad.
Oh, man. So I'm very excited to get Logan on. I also got another special surprise, which I won't share now. But something.
You son of a bitch.
I'll show you guys after the recording. But yeah, Logan, I'm very excited to get to hang out with Logan.
He's
and
awesome.
Talk about the Frighteners. Yeah, I've talked to him just like over DMs and commenting on like his he does a video podcast with his wife, which is awesome. And he just did an episode. Well, as of this recording, their latest episode is on Django Unchained, which he did with Joel Scoler from Movie Dumpster, and we love the Movie Dumpster dudes over here. So if they're collabing with anyone, I'm gonna listen. But yeah, Logan's awesome. His wife Becca's awesome. They run a great podcast, and I'm very excited to get Logan on the show to get to talk about movies and all that fun stuff. As for everything else, which is my favorite part of the show, is getting to try to sell this show. And before we do that, Dustin's got to sell his show to us and tell everybody where they can find him and Flicks and Friends, Baron's Hideout Podcast, and B Action, since he's a fucking host of like 17 shows.
All right. So the Flicks and Friends podcast, we are a variety podcast show. We are on everything you catch your podcast on, minus YouTube. That kind of goes for B Action as well. B Action is a companion show to Give Me Back My Action and Horror Films. I do it with my co-hosts Charlie and Mickey. And we watch and talk about the DVDs you thought you'd want to rent at Blockbuster, but never did because they just look too bad. And then the last one, is Baron's Hideout Podcast. It's strictly horror. We do a lot of Screenbox stuff, and that's everywhere. So you can find us on any platform with the Baron's Hideout.
Awesome, yeah, and all the links to all the shows that Dustin's a part of will be down in the description. But you guys have heard us talk about Flicks and Friends a million times. I actually was on an episode of B Action, which is it'll be out by the time you guys listen to this episode, where we talked about I can't even fucking remember the movie we talked
Assault
about.
on Devil's Island. Oh,
Oh my
yeah, whatever the
God.
name of it was. Dan, it has Hulk Hogan, Shannon Tweed, Trevor Goddard, Carl Weathers, Billy Blanks, Billy Drago. Dude,
You got me.
and
You got me.
Shannon Tweed gets halfway naked in it. Parker missed it. It was a made-for-TV movie. Dude, Trevor Goddard, fucking Kano is in it, dude.
Yep.
So good.
Dude, she got naked in a made-for-TV movie. What fucking network showed this?
I don't know, but her tits are out. Anyways, back to Parker. Sorry.
No, I had to look it up, dude. She does in fact get naked.
Oh, God.
So
It's so funny because I think the funniest thing was I can't remember where I saw, but I was watching a video on like YouTube or something, and it popped up, and I went, I have never heard of this movie before. Dustin sent me a link to this movie, but now after recording a fucking episode on it, now I'm going to see it all over the goddamn place. Get out of here.
Yep,
it's the same thing that
Gain
happened
sentience.
with the latest Monster Zone, not the September one, but the one that we just did. There's a new show on Shudder called like Horror Best or something like that. It like goes through like different categories of horror. Like the first episode was all about like horror tropes and stuff like that.
Okay.
But it showed a clip from one of the sections was like car trouble. And it showed a clip from
No
Horror at Party
way.
Beach, and I went, I've never heard of this movie before we covered it, and now I'm seeing it on fucking shows. What is happening?
Was it the canyon with the three ladies with the tires
Like,
blows
I
out?
guess.
Yes!
Oh no, I guess we got a flat.
Nah. Let's not use the flashlight we've had in the glove box the whole fucking time.
Oh God. As for us, you can find us on all the social media apps. We're on Instagram, Twitter, all the things, Facebook, and everything else at Dissect That Film. Join us over at patreon.com/Dissect That Film, where for $1 you can get early access to episodes and blooper reels and access to polls, which you can also join at the free tier and do the same thing. Or you can join us at the $3 tier, where you get access to our Patreon exclusive show called The Monster Zone, which is hosted by Dan and Angela, where once a month we spin a wheel and we talk about the monster movie it lands on. For September, we're talking about The Deadly Mantis from 1957.
57,
Oh my God, that was a guess.
Somewhere like that.
I'm very excited. So yeah, go check us out over there if you can support us financially. But like I said, the polls that we do at the end of the month decide what we're going to cover at the end of the month. You can join at the free tier if you just want to be part of those polls. You don't have to pay. You just join at the free tier and you can participate in those, and it's really cool. So do that. If you don't want to spend money, perfectly okay.
Yeah.
Because there's other ways you can support us. You can go to your favorite podcast app and leave us 5 stars because ratings are good. It helps us get into more people's ears. You can leave reviews on Apple Podcasts. You can do it on Good Pods. I think you can leave comments on episodes on Spotify now, which is really cool.
That's brand new.
Yeah. And we're also on YouTube. If you're watching us right now, you know that already. But if you're not, if you're just listening, we're on YouTube where you can see the video form. Literally, you can see our faces and all the crazy nonsense that we do live in the episodes. We do premieres every Thursday. And then we release our audio. Then we release our audio versions the next day. Please subscribe to the channel. It's free. Make sure to leave us a comment. We love reading comments. We get comments every week. Even if it's from the same people, I don't give a shit. I love answering your comments, even if it's episodes that happened from 2 years ago. I might not remember what the fuck I talked about in that episode, but I still leave a comment for you. So thank you very much. We're itching our way towards 1,000 subscribers, but
Hell yeah.
Let's go. Let's just hit that sub button, like the video, all that fun stuff, all that YouTube rigmarole. And before we leave, I do want to thank our wonderful patrons: Billy Joseph Jr., Corey Morissette, Andrew Schoening, Jason, Dustin from the Flicks and Friends podcast, Daniel Collins, Dan and Angela of DNA Gaming, Doom Generation, Eric Stein, Robert Stewart, Rudy5453. I fucked that up. The Baron's Hideout podcast, Paul Jansen, Dennis, Charles, Bucket of Chum podcast, Official Joey C, and Movie Fanatic. God, I was doing so good.
Fuck
and I fucked up Baron's Hideout. Damn it, Dustin. I fucked it
up.
I-
Yeah. Why would you not know that?
I want to get to the point where our patrons have grossly inappropriate names.
Yeah, well, I'm going to read them. I don't give a fuck.
That's what I strive
It's at the end
for.
of the show. YouTube usually doesn't care about the end. It's usually the beginning that they shit on.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you everybody for listening, for supporting the show. We appreciate you so much. Seriously, without you, the show wouldn't be anything. And thanks to people like Dustin for coming on the show and becoming our friend and supporting the show. This is what, your third, fourth episode this season. So
this season, probably.
Yeah, something like that. But you know, it's been a lot of fun.
Counting? Who's counting?
Who cares anymore? It's just great to have. It's great to be able to just reach out to somebody like Dustin and just be like, hey, you want to hop on the show? And he's here. So thank you so much. I know. I
know, right?
Fucking choke him out. Watch it.
Yeah.
Watch it, damn
movie. You can't make me. Yes.
Oh my God. I'm probably forgetting something, but I always do. Thank you so much. Do all the things I just said. And until next time, I am Brett Parker. That is Dan from DNA Gaming. And that is Dustin from the Flicks and Friends podcast, Baron Hideout podcast, a lot of podcasts, okay? And be action. Don't just do action, see action.
Yeah, don't
what?
just
no, that was
wrong. Don't just watch action.
I wanted to purposely fuck it up, okay? All right,
I know.
Have a great week. We'll see y'all again next week. Bye.